Welcome to Maximize Living with Dr. Patrick Andersen. I'm your host, Ellen Barrett, and we are heading back on location today to continue the conversation from Dr. Pat's Gut Check Advanced Workshop, where he's talking about your digestive health and how that impacts your whole body. Let's take a look.
Two brains, one body. So in the gut, 90% of your serotonin is produced in the gut. And it's a happiness neurotransmitter, mood and anxiety regulator. It's critically important. It's going to give you satisfaction and fulfillment, and even raises your pain threshold when that's proper. If you're low on serotonin, depression and fibromyalgia can happen. But cortisol stops serotonin release. So you see where stress can upset that whole system. And then dopamine is the other one, 50% produced in the gut. And through the enteric nervous system, a network of 100 million nerve fibers in your gut, that's why we call it the second brain, it'll communicate and transport those neurotransmitters and affect your entire brain and body through the nervous system. So it's fascinating how it's tied together. So we want to nourish the immune system. So we want to get rid of the bad foods, put better foods in, but now we want to get the probiotic balance working better. What are some of the foods you think of that would have probiotics in them?
Sauerkraut.
Sauerkraut is one of the best. It's number one. Number two is kefir. Have you ever had kefir? Yeah, check it out in the store. It can taste pretty good. It's like a liquid yogurt, but it's full of probiotics. There's another one. Anybody have kombucha tea? Kombucha is a fermented product. It's actually quite tasty. But this culture, American culture, we have very few cultured foods anymore. We kind of lost that. Even our pickling is, if you pickle something, you're going to get the probiotics that recultivate your colon. So, but even if you buy just pickles, often they're chemically processed, and it doesn't have the probiotics. But you can get naturally fermented pickles, and then they'll have tons of probiotics in it. And kind of the idea is have once or twice a day, have something sour with your meals that's going to add that normal bacterial flora to your body and keep your gut healthier. It's real interesting. Many of these other choices are yogurt, which is a dairy product, which you might have some trouble with. There's one yogurt I like called Noosa. It has 5 probiotics in it. And it's not full of sugar or food coloring or flavoring, like many of them. So Noosa is a pretty good yogurt. Kimchi, anyone have kimchi? It's the pickled vegetables you can buy. That's available at health food stores. And one of the things is that if lactic acid, Lactobacillus acidophilus produces lactic acid, it helps keep the colon a little more acidic. Guess what thrives in an acidic environment? The healthy bacteria. Guess what gets killed in that environment? The pathogenic bacteria. So we want to do things that help those Lactobacillus acidophilus culture produce a little acid, keep that colon a little more acidic, and you can help balance your gut. So has anyone ever done any fermenting? You can get a fermenting pot and take some celery juice, juice the celery, and put your vegetables in there, put them in a mason jar, and leave it out for 2 to 4 days, and it'll ferment, and you'll have your own fermented probiotic. So there's some things that aren't that hard, or you can make your own sauerkraut for those that want to. I haven't done it yet, but I want to, just to see how it goes. But it doesn't have to be expensive to eat this way, but we need more cultured foods, and we're not getting it, and the result is a belly that just won't go down, weight loss resistance, gastrointestinal distress, and poor health, poor nutrition, malnutrition, because we don't have that natural balance in our diet. So lots of different things can be done. Carrots in whey water, shredded beets, radishes, carrots, and salt water. So lots of things can be done fairly simply. Just a few minutes, you can pickle your own veggies. We want to remove the immune downers. Does this look familiar? Would this be on the perimeter of the store or the inside of the store? Man, so you get a little choosier. You know, I like to say if God made it, it's okay to eat. If man made it, don't touch it. So these are some of the things that break down the gut wall, the processed foods. Dairy is one of the things that's pretty challenging. Dehydration, so the easiest way to hurt the brain and even the gut is to get dehydrated. And a lot of people are dehydrated because they're not drinking water often enough.
Have your questions for Dr. Pat answered on an episode of Maximize Living. Send your email to drpat@wi57.tv.
The idea is we want to stop putting the toxic things in and get the stress out of our lives so that our gut lining doesn't break down. Then we want to heal the gut lining with the right foods, put better nutrition in, and we want to heal the gut lining. Some of the things that heal the gut lining really well are glutamine. Glutamine is very helpful. It's fuel for those enterocytes, those small intestine cells that absorb our food. And so we want the glutamine in there. It's very helpful. We want to make sure we watch NSAIDs, the non-steroidal anti-inflammatories, you know, the aspirins, because that's just really hard on the intestinal tract. And watch the toxic foods. Use things like there's a product called Orthobiotic, which is we just switched to this one. It's loaded with really stable probiotics. In other words, they can make it through the gut wall and the intestinal tract and stand the acid and the bile acids and the hydrochloric acid and get to where they need to go. And so they store very well and travel well that way. So I really like that. And there's another product called IgG Protect. And that actually helps heal the gut wall as well. So Amanda Keene from Orthomolecular here, she's got a little cocktail sample you can try that combines the probiotic powder with the IgG immunoglobulin Protect with the GlutaShield, which has glutamine and other products in it. So you just take that, try that and see what you think. And its idea is to heal the gut wall. So, but if we do nothing, the way to get started, really, is to get checked. Get your nervous system checked first and foremost. Because your gut, that's the primary control. The vagus nerve, the digestive organs, how your enzymes are produced are all in direct control of your nervous system. So if that's off, your whole body will be off. And what you put into your body nutritionally won't make that big a difference. You have to have it all working together. So everyone should really just get their body checked and see how they're doing. It's a science. If you have a problem, subluxation, you'll see poor posture, weak muscles, limited motion, tender joints, and short leg syndrome, the leg contracts. And as you get adjusted, those things improve. And of course, x-rays, the digital x-rays we take, those improve as well, and your body just gets healthier and healthier and healthier. It takes time to overcome something that's maybe been going on for 20 years, 30 years, and bad imbalances are in your body. So we get the adjustments, we put better foods into our body, we use some supplementation, and we regenerate our body to really have a much better health and life. So at this point, I'll be happy to ask for any questions. All right, who can tell me the 5 essentials? Anyone know them without looking at the wall? We did kind of put it on the wall. Anyone want to take a stab at it? Doc, you're disqualified. This is Dr. Kyle Collins. He's joining us here starting January 2nd. He was going to join January 1st, but we said we'll take that day off. So we're glad to have him. Top in his class. Glad to have him here.
I have a question for you.
Sure.
Talk about your intermittent fasting and what it looks like in your day.
Yeah. Well, I get home about, I try to get home as quick as I can so I can get some food and then be done eating. So I try to be done by 7. How am I doing? You know, okay. So be done, and then don't eat anything until noon the next day. And for myself, I've noticed just really good changes. I lost a lot of weight. I feel I'm burning body fat much better, and energy levels went up to another level. So I'm real happy with it personally. So all these things we talk about, I've done and worked on myself, and I wouldn't really bring them up if I didn't think they were just an epidemic problem in our society. So I don't eat until about noon, and I try to get a workout in before I eat, or I'll even have some bone broth, which has some good healthy nutrients in it that help heal the gut as well. And then just in the morning until noon, I'll have some coffee, and I'll have some MCT oil, medium chain triglyceride, MCT, medium chain triglyceride oil, or you can take a spoon of coconut oil. And that'll keep your energy up pretty good and keep your brain sharp. So actually when I do it, I feel sharper than eating bagels and cream cheese. And get, you know, if you've ever done that, you kind of crash a little bit and you're tired after you eat it. So that's typically, I'm about a 16-hour, 17-hour. I haven't gotten down to the 20-hour fast yet. I've only doing it for a couple months.
Have your questions for Dr. Pat answered on an episode of Maximize Living. Send your email to drpat@wi57.tv.
So do you have Shield and Orthobiotics?
Yes, yes. Amanda actually has samples of it back there. And I'd encourage you to take a look at that if you think you're having trouble. If you're having issues with like joint pain and rashes, and if you're having fungal infections, athlete's foot and you can't get rid of it, you know, jock itch, vaginal issues are real common. You have a probiotic imbalance, and it's one of the best things you can do is to get those probiotics. So what I like to do is mix the probiotic. Everyone probably should take a probiotic. It's one of the 3 main things we recommend.
So once a day?
Vitamin D, which is great for immunity, and vitamin D at 1/5000, omega-3 fish oils, and then a probiotic. Those are the 3 things, if you're only going to take 3, that I would take, and they're just so essential for people. They're going to cover a lot of issues for people.
And it's daily?
Yeah. Yeah, those would be the main 3. And if I would add to that, I would use our daily detox, and I would add a multiple, which is quite helpful too. Next in line would maybe be magnesium. That's great for sleep and helps relax muscles if you're getting cramps and spasms. Often magnesium is a pretty deficient supplement as well in people. But nothing replaces eating the real food. Nothing replaces it. Man hasn't figured out to match natural food. And when we do, when we try, we usually mess something up. So what I like to do is take a probiotic, but I want to also eat cultured foods, half and half. So get that sauerkraut and kefir and yogurt and kimchi and miso and there's all kinds of different things that you can have to help that probiotic balance naturally as well. So we can't just totally rely on a supplement. We want, just like with nutrition, we want to eat real foods but also supplement. That way you're going to have your best chances nutritionally, because I believe that health is a choice. And more than anything else, like Aristotle said, health is a matter of choice, not a mystery of chance. We're not sick from bad bugs, bad genes, or bad luck. We're sick from bad lifestyle. We haven't done the things it takes to create health. In our society, if we keep going with escalating costs, in 20 years it'll consume our entire gross national product. That's how expensive medical care would be. You know, we had somebody in here that, I don't see them in the audience tonight, her husband just had heart surgery. It was $800,000. And don't get me wrong, medicine can do some wonderful things, but wouldn't it have been nice if he would have been on omega-3s and was exercising during his life and possibly prevented some of these things? You know, and that's what we're really talking about. In our society, we wait till we get sick and then we try to do something, as opposed to learn as a child, how do you stay healthy? So we know that those that get regular care, after 5 years of regular wellness care, they have 1/3 the overall medical expenses in the study. They can see their MD and their chiro, 1/3 the expense. They take 85% less prescriptions, and they have 60% less hospitalizations. I mean, who's up for that, you know? And so it really empowers you, rather than being a victim of a disease. This work empowers you to be in charge. And what I see so often, it isn't so much can someone get better, it's will they do the things they need to do to get better. And some have damage and you can't get 100%, but you'd be amazed at how much better people can get when they take care of themselves on a consistent basis. Not only that, but it's less expensive and it gives you more energy and you can be the person you want to be rather than dulled down and tired and groggy and depressed. You turn your body back on, get it working right, and live the life you're destined to have. So thank you for coming tonight. I appreciate it.
Have your questions for Dr. Pat answered on an episode of Maximize Living. Send your email to drpat@wi57.tv.
Here's a tough one. It isn't just gluten from wheat. Other grains have forms of gluten in them as well that can upset the intestinal tract. So you'll find in the Maximize Living nutrition plans, we reduce grains, especially in the advanced plan. We reduce the grains. And this is where people can lose weight like crazy because they're not getting that inflammation from the grains in their body. And there is life after grains. Remove another immune downer. Milk, yogurt can be an issue, cheese. But what comes out there, just try it for a week or two and watch how you feel completely different in your intestinal tract. Then you can add something back in and see if you react to it. Then you know. Then you got a choice. Do I want a bloated, achy stomach and I can't lose weight? Or do I want to eat cheese? Do I want to eat cheese so bad and leave that way? Or do I want to feel better and move better and be healthier? Because it isn't just what you feel, it's actually affecting your whole system and your health. And of course, around Christmas time now, sugar is always a challenge. So sugar suppresses your immune function. That's why many people get sick in January. They've had so many desserts at Christmas time, they just shock their system and then their immunity's down and then they're sick. A little colder weather shocked their system and it doesn't take much. Now here's something that's kind of fun. Shifting gears to the brain, have you heard of the ketogenic diet? Where you have a low carbohydrate diet. It's really healthy. And tied with it is called intermittent fasting. You may have heard that word. If not, you'll hear more about it. Intermittent fasting is taking a break and eating. Could you imagine that? What do you think happens when you don't eat for a while? Lots of things. Let me show you. When you don't eat for about 12 hours, you get into ketosis. When you're in ketosis, there's some really cool physiological things that happen. Your appetite actually isn't that bad. Your mental focus goes up, your energy level improves, blood sugar level will balance better, insulin sensitivity improves, repair of cells happen, human growth hormone is produced for muscle growth, increase in fatty acid burning, and resist stress, the ability to resist stress and improve your aging process, all improves when you're doing intermittent fasting. And then blood pressure goes down, inflammation goes down, oxidative stress, risk of cancer, and your triglycerides and cholesterol go down. So there's a lot of cool things. So how do we do that? For the beginner, it's 16 hours without eating. So what I would do, what I'd recommend is maybe eat at 11 and be done by 7 at night. So you can have lunch and dinner. In the morning, you can have coffee, you can put butter in your coffee or ghee. You can have MCT oil, a medium chain triglyceride oil. It'll help the brain stay healthy and keep good energy. But in the meantime, you're fasting, and all that time, your gut wall is healing. A nice thing too is aloe vera juice. I've had just wonderful results just adding aloe vera juice, a couple tablespoons, to help soothe and heal the digestive tract. It's really a simple way of doing it. And also when you're fasting like that, your body is really cleansing itself. You're really cleaning up a lot of debris, and fasts feel really good for the body. So intermittent fasting would be basically going 8 hours without it. If you want to be a warrior, the hardest one would be 20 hours without eating and 4 hours on. There's a lot of healing going on because when you eat food, it takes a lot of energy to digest that. And some people just eat constantly. And so they're always digesting and not enough detoxifying often. So this is different thinking. I think you're gonna hear more about intermittent fasting. So coconut oil is a couple tablespoons in the morning. So what I do is I wait till noon to eat or a little after. I try to work out then before I eat when I'm in a ketogenic state. you can really burn fat faster. And so, but it takes a little while to get used to that, so just kind of change over. But I bet you'll find you have more energy when you do it. And you'll feel like you move easier, less joint aches and pains, things like that, when you get the diet just right and get that break from eating. And then when you break a fast, not many people want to break a fast with a Twinkie or a ho-ho. They pretty much want to eat some real food. So it does increase the quality of your food when you do that.
Have your questions for Dr. Pat answered on an episode of Maximize Living. Send your email to drpat@wi57.tv.
Thank you so much for joining us today for the Gut Check Advanced Workshop, only on Maximize Living with Dr. Patrick Andersen. And you can find us next time right here on Wisconsin's 57 Television.